uh, delve into philosophy to some extent, and I must give you a disclaimer that I am not a philosopher or an expert in the field of philosophy, but this is my way of learning and developing my own teaching. So I accept the challenge whenever there is an assignment given by CLT to be a moderator or facilitator. I accept because I start working then on the topic and I learn. And hopefully, this interactive session will help each of us to learn from each other. So uh, we will be able to achieve this goal. The goal is very simple, that by taking this session, we will be able to write or choose, even if we don't write much, but we can choose a teaching philosophy that reflects your educational approach. So since we all are professors and teachers and educators, we are supposed to have a well-defined educational approach. You have been shared 3 exercises. This first one you were supposed to do before the session, but I don't know that how many of you have done. But let's just read few statements from this first exercise. The first statement says that the curriculum should be universal. A given body of information about human civilization should be taught through discussion and lecture. How many of you agree that it is according to my teaching philosophy or education? Okay, next, you see, students are makers of meaning and construct their understandings from active experience rather than through transmission from teachers. Okay, thank you. Another, education should emphasize personal growth through solving problems that are real to students. Again, okay. 4, curriculum should not be predetermined. Rather, it should spring from students' interests and needs. How many of you support this statement?
Partially.
Partially.
You cannot teach everything to the students, otherwise.
Okay. So it is necessary and good that institutions instill traditional values in students, number 5 says. Agree? Or? Okay, strongly agree. 6, representing information as symbols in the mind is an important part of learning. Okay. So I see that, sir, you are almost everywhere. So this is so multidisciplinary approach you have got. So you see that these statements are actually one or the other way, they contradict with each other. So you have to identify what is your stream or line of thinking and which statement fits best into your teaching and education philosophy. And then you will be able to construct your learning experience in the class and design your courses accordingly. So this one exercise is enough for all of us to help us that how to identify or how to develop our teaching philosophy. This exercise is highly recommended. This is sufficient. It has 40 questions, and then there are different groups, and they say that if you complete this, and then you can find out that what is my teaching philosophy. And please, if you have time sometimes, do go through it and do it. It will be a great help.
Is there any calculation that?
Yeah, there is at the end.
Too many numbers.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. It has. Yeah.
The greater the number, the more.
Yeah, This in the same way. So let's read and enjoy this dialogue. If you can read it, suppose there is a teacher and a student, okay, or maybe someone else. Why do you suppose we are here? Okay. The young one asks. And the senior one says, because we walked here. No, I mean here on earth. Because earth can support life. No, I mean, why are we anywhere? Why do we exist? Now you see the impression, okay? Now he gets fainted or black because we are born and highly disappointed, and then says, forget it, I will. This is the problem even with teaching. Okay? This is a general existential problem in the life, but when we you can say that rewrite it in educational settings, then we can write a dialogue like this one. Here is a dialogue between teacher and a student. Student says, why do you think we are learning this? I mean, challenging your content or whatever the syllabus you are teaching to your student. If student asks, sir or ma'am, why do you think we are learning this? And if our answer is because it's in the syllabus. No, I mean, why do we need to know it? Because it will help you pass the exam. No, I mean, why do we need to understand any of this in life? Because you are a student. Then he says, okay, forget about it. Why it happens and when it happens when we don't have a clear educational philosophy and we don't know that what is the wisdom behind our teaching and how to actually satisfy our students that what we are teaching, why we are teaching, how we are teaching, what is the sense and wisdom of all that, what we are doing in the class. Otherwise, it will be the same case in our classes. Okay, so if I ask you to reflect, can you justify your teaching activities? Okay, if you can, if you say that I can give a good answer, wise answer to my students, whatever I do in the class, I can give them a good answer. It means you have a philosophy, you have an educational philosophy. Now you just need to own it and articulate it in a paragraph. Okay, or somewhere you have to follow it practically and believing that this is your teaching style or this is your lifestyle, professionally speaking. Now, in philosophy, they say that just in nutshell, there are bigger philosophies and schools of general philosophies, existential philosophies, or philosophies of life. Okay, what is life? What is the meaning of life? Okay, how to live in this world. So, Jean-Paul Sartre, a famous philosopher, he says, to do is to be. Okay. And his principle is that existence precedes essence. He says that we come first and our meanings later. I mean, we give the meanings to our being. So when we actually explain that philosophy in nutshell, we can say to do is to be. What you do, that is the meaning and essence of your life, according to this philosophy. Whatever you do. Okay. So your doing actually determines your being. So this is outside in approach. Okay. What is outside? We can understand that and we can say that perhaps this is the purpose of your life.
But can we conclude here that it is always without a purpose? I don't.
No, there is always a purpose. Yeah, but sometimes we are not aware of that.
You come first and then purpose comes.
He says, yeah, everything has its purpose first, then it comes. Okay? For example, we have a purpose in mind first that we need a cell phone to call people or to talk to people, then we made it. Okay? But about human beings, this philosophy, this is called existentialism. Okay, they say that only human beings are exception. They come first, meaning come later. Their meanings of life, they come later. And they actually giving meanings to their life by their actions. This is what Socrates he has different statement of his philosophy, and he says that to be is to do. Okay, being first, and that is essence precedes existence. That is altogether different philosophy. When we come to Shakespeare, here we see a dilemma or tragedy, and here we have experience of this to be or not to be, to accept the challenge or not to accept the challenge, just to follow the tradition, just to accept others or the situation, or to take life into our hand. So this is a dilemma and famous dilemma in Shakespearean literature when he says that to be or not to be. So then there are other to be, do be, habadabadu. Okay, it means I just enjoy myself. I don't have, and I don't want to have such a kind of philosophies. So if I ask you that, can you please give some nutshell, okay, any statement to your own philosophy? What is your philosophy in nutshell statement? Or can you own any one of them? You agree?
If the Shakespearean philosophy is closer to the interpretative philosophy, then I would go with this.
Okay. Anybody else, please? You are to do is to be, or to be is to do, or habadabadu.
We are dependent on our own actions. We are what we do.
Okay.
I think that life without purpose is a life not lived.
Mhm. So what comes first, you or purpose?
Purpose. No. Purpose.
God has created you with purpose, or you create your purpose yourself?
I think it is designed in such a way that the purpose comes from within us. Everybody doesn't have similar purposes. Everybody doesn't think the same.
Yeah.
We're all different.
Yeah.
So we all have different purposes, but I think that without purpose, your life is not shit.
Can we give the classification of these purposes that one is ultimate purpose, one is our immediate or
You can, but what actually, when you design your course, you should design your course aligned with one of the philosophies which you own actually. What you teach your students, to do is to be, and then it means you give more importance to their actions. But when you say no, to be is to do, then you give more importance to their being inside. Okay. So what is your course all about? About being or doing, or being and doing, okay, one or the other, or one after the other, or you don't say that. No, we cannot follow a structured traditional philosophy. You should create your own philosophy according to the world or according to the situations. If that is your standpoint, then you design your course and activities according to this philosophy of your education and teaching activities. Then what is philosophy out of these two slides, what you have learned? What is philosophy?
the reality, find out the reality to find out the truths, ideology, perception of the truth. The answer to what, how, and why.
Why of your activities? Okay.
About life, why.
Philosophy is the why. Okay. They say philosophy is the wisdom.
Philosophy is more about what.
Why is actually limiting the opportunities to have.
Philosophy is how.
Countless.
Okay.
opportunities that have, when you have your students,
Mhm.
you can shape your course, you can design your course according to their needs. So how gives you countless opportunities? But the why is actually, the asking of the question why is actually limiting your boundaries to thought, to explore, to grow out of the strength and weaknesses.
Okay. So you say philosophy is all about how. Many people say that it's about why.
Why is focus?
And how,
Why is focus?
because we can't say how if we have no purpose.
Or I have the closest answer.
Uh-huh.
I am sure that it is only about what, but these answering these questions is also important, but they comes after defining what. Yes. Because what is truth is actually philosophy.
Okay.
Once you know the truth, then you define the purposes and all these things.
Right.
know, it is always debatable. People have not come to the conclusion, so we can have different perspectives,
Yes, there are individual variations.
Okay.
and that is the beauty of philosophy.
So if I ask this gentleman, then hello, how have you made this coffee? Or why have you made this coffee? What is philosophical question?
Why?
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 Why? So they say, literally speaking, they say the philosophy derives from the Greek word philos, love, and sophia, wisdom. So they say philosophy means love of wisdom. It is about wisdom. What is the wisdom behind this activity? What is the wisdom behind the assignment you are giving to the students? What is the wisdom behind? That is philosophy. Why have you created this test for the students? Why? Okay. So when you give the answer of all whys, why are you teaching this course? Why are you a professor of this discipline? If you say that because in early my life, I came to know that I have a better scientific mind. So I decided to be a person of science. So I learned science and now I am teaching science. And it fits with my potential. And now I can effectively teach scientific approach to my students. And I am enjoying it. So you have to give the answer of why in this way. And that is called your wisdom all behind of your all activities, whatever you do in the class, in the profession, from designing the course to the evaluating the course.
Would that be the real justification? Because how you have defined it, the reasoning would be different from how I have defined
So
it.
that is why I have my philosophy education.
Yeah.
You should have yours. Okay. Yeah. We all are not supposed to follow one and the same philosophy education. There are varieties of, and there are different and diverse methods and philosophies, and you. Okay. Yeah. 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 But you should be aware of your philosophy. All philosophies are good and they fit one or the other way in your discipline. One philosophy actually fits in your discipline. So that is why you should be aware of that. If you are a teacher of science, you should not be teach students religious way. Okay. Your responsibility is to develop scientific minds. If I am teaching religion, I have a different philosophy of education because I am teaching religion. Maybe I am teaching something inside. You are teaching something outside. So in this way. So it is the study of fundamental questions regarding existence and knowledge, and that is just the definition. Now come, what is teaching philosophy? The teaching philosophy is a statement that outlines an educator's beliefs, practices, and about teaching, learning, education. So if I ask you, what are your beliefs or what are your practices? And if you say that, I believe that students learn by doing. I believe that, this is my belief about education and learning. I believe that students learn better by doing. So that is why I create assignments that engage students in the class. But if some other professor says that, I believe that students learn by listening. So that is why I deliver effective lecture. Maybe the other one says that, I believe that students learn by seeing. So I develop some visuals. I share visuals with my students, they learn better. Someone other could say that students learn by all these. They learn by doing, they learn by seeing, they learn by listening. So I actually designed the whole of my lecture by using all these styles and tools. For some time I deliver lecture. I show some visuals, I give them some practice because there are 30 to 35, 36 students in my class and they have different potentials. So I have to develop a lesson plan where I can facilitate all types of students. So I believe that students learn by diverse and different ways. That is your belief system.
Could there be a hybrid philosophy?
It is highly recommended now. So your teaching philosophy actually explains the wisdom behind your professional activities. Whatever you do as a professor, as a professional, as a teacher, you have to give a wise answer. Why? Wise answer. There are answers. If you see in the cartoon dialogue, there are answers, but answers are not wise. Why are we here? Because we walked here. It is an answer, but it is not a wise answer. Why do we exist? Because we were born. So this is not a good answer. So you have to give not only an answer, but a good, wise answer. And that would be called your philosophy of education. How to select teaching philosophy now, please, if you could help me. Those who are online, please, if you could help us that how to select teaching philosophy, what we need to do. Anybody, please? Okay, here.
We need to see the application of their dedicated course which we are teaching in the field. If you know that if you are teaching this course XYZ and this is the application, for example, I talk about media studies or mathematics class. We have a practicality right there, so
Okay.
we have to manage.
Okay, so he says that we can select our teaching philosophy if we actually understand the whereabouts of our discipline and its application. Okay, what else?
And I believe that my teaching philosophy should be strongly supported by my personality. So what I would do, I would just reflect on myself in the past and see that what has been my approach in the past. On the basis of that, I will select my philosophy.
So this is, yeah, there is another view that, and we can connect it with the MBTI personality type test. And they say that there are 16 types of people. Psychologists say that there are 16 types of people. And here in this room, one professor says that according to my personality type, I can opt my teaching philosophy, or I can design according to my potential, my style, my calling, my personality type. My thinking, that all include into your personality type, your belief system, your thinking, your potential type, you are extrovert or introvert or what you are. Okay, then you actually align your philosophy with your personality. What else will you keep in mind when you write a paragraph of your education philosophy? What other things?
In pharmacy, we can use the impact on the overall health of the environment or the patient.
The goal of the study, the impact. Okay.
And all the students are they are interested and what they know about the topic.
All right.
Philosophy must relate to the nature of the course they are teaching.
Mm.
We have to adapt our teaching philosophy according to the courses. Because some of the courses are very basic in nature, we have to follow very basic level. Some of the courses, for example,
Understand.
That means I have to develop my
Yeah.
teaching philosophy according to that particular course.
Understand. Thank you. Very good point that according to the nature of the discipline or subject matter of our course, you can select a teaching philosophy that fits best.
I think it's also very important to understand the current realities that people, especially students, are going through.
Market driven.
And then design the course accordingly.
Okay. Understand the market and the need of the students in future. Okay, then you can. Okay, thank you very much. But I have some other different suggestions. First of all, we all need to understand institutional mission. Our program, our courses, they should be aligned with the institutional philosophy or institutional mission. Institutional mission is institutional philosophy. Okay. So we have here a well-crafted and well-developed mission of FCCU. So we need to understand that, and we need to actually align our courses and our activities with that, to that FCCU mission statement, number one. Number two, then we need to learn about the major general life philosophies, okay? And there are four major. One is idealism, realism, pragmatism, and existentialism. You might have seen on the exercises. A little bit, just the definition of those major philosophies. Then there are their educational implication of those general philosophies, and we call them educational philosophies. Okay. For example, there is a philosophy, idealism. When we follow idealism and apply it in education, that is called education philosophy. And they have a little bit different names, prominent education philosophies. And then you have to identify a philosophy that aligns best with your discipline or course. Now you see exercise. I have actually, do you have? If you have already identified which one is yours, have you? At any sheet out of both, any sheet, have you identified which one fits best in your discipline? Point number four says, identify a philosophy that aligns best with your disciplinary course. Those who are online, please, you have these exercises. Exercise number 2 or 3 refers here. Just identify, don't write anything. Just identify, for example, from this page, just identify number 1, 2, or 3. Or out of this page, column number 1, 2, or 3, or 4.
We are in hybrid mode. Different philosophies are making you have course content.
That is lack of clarity. Yeah. That is lack of clarity, or maybe you are highly qualified now, you are able to develop a multidisciplinary approach, but still you have to be focused in your own discipline. Unless you are teaching a course like biochemistry, or I am teaching science and religion, then I have to have a hybrid approach. If I am just teaching fundamentals of chemistry, then I cannot apply.
If I am teaching political philosophy, so political philosophy is all about the history and practical implication. So
it is about philosophy and politics. Philosophy and politics.
So
okay.
Might not be
okay.
Because when you teach practical politics, you are applying that to practical politics, and you are also teaching Aristotle's behavior like that. We are not only into the Plato's and Socrates ideas. That is better.
Okay.
It's a hybrid mode of these two. Whatever that is practical for you or feasible for you at that point of time to get the solution, you just have to go for that.
Okay.
So it is already a mixture of two philosophies.
At a certain point, I will appreciate that if you are using multi-philosophies and you are teaching, but in the beginning, I would say that be focused, be aligned, okay? And try to understand that what is the nature of your discipline, okay? So there is one way that there are 9 keywords you see in the mission of FCCU. You see that FCC mission statement says that it is to impart, create, and disseminate knowledge. Maybe if someone asks you that, sir or ma'am, why have you given this activity to your students? You can say it is aligned with one of the points of mission statement. It can help create knowledge. It will help create knowledge. To create knowledge is the mission of FCCU. Or if it is about a seminar or arranging a conference or like that, and then you say it is about dissemination of knowledge. So that is why I have given this assignment to students. Arrange a seminar, invite a prominent scholar to your group or class or in seminar. And if someone asks you why, and you say that this is the way how to disseminate knowledge. There is another group of words you see that to develop informed, ethical, and responsible citizens. Maybe you are working on developing informed citizen. I am working on developing ethical citizens. You are giving them state-of-the-art education, cutting-edge curriculum you are developing, but I am not working with their state-of-the-art information from the market. I am working with their ethics and values. So I have a different activity, you have a different. This is my philosophy, that is yours. But you have to justify whatever you are doing, it fits with the FCC mission statement. Anywhere. One or the other way, there are 9 areas. Yes, you should be in one or the other. And we are developing people who are able or who are committed to learn, lead, or serve. If you are asking them to develop a research proposal, for example, and if I ask you, why are you giving this assignment to students to develop a research proposal? You can say that it is learning about learning, future learning. So they will be able to, in future, they will be able to develop a research proposal whenever they are required. And so this is the ability to learn in future. Or maybe you are developing leaders, so then it is about to lead. Maybe you are asking them to believe in service, then it is about service. So this is one way that your philosophy of education, if you are in FC college and you are committed to stay here for a long, long time, then I would recommend you to write your philosophy of education compatible and aligned with FCCU mission statement without reading much about philosophies, Aristotle and Socrates and others. You just read this mission and align your courses and activities to this one segment of this mission statement, not the whole of the statement or whole of mission statement you can actually implement into your classes, but some area. First one or second one or third one. Then there is another area of institutional goals, empowered learners. Are you working on empowered learners or informed learners or responsible learners? Here you can identify an area where actually your courses are focusing to support the institutional mission. Or, now please look at the table you have with you. Here you see that there are 4 major schools of philosophy: idealism, realism, pragmatism, existentialism. They talk about what is truth, what is reality. And then they design and draft their educational programs or courses and goals. In first row, you see all the major schools of philosophy. Idealism says that reality is mental. So that is why thoughts are more important. But realism says that physical world is real. So that is why learning about physical world or material world is important. Okay. This is the difference between idealism and realism. Socrates and Plato would say that human ideas are more important and we should inculcate in students the ability to generate ideas. And ideas are original thing. But Aristotle would say no. We should teach students the knowledge about material world and how to apply it. Then pragmatism, they say that no, reality is a social construct. Students work in society, in groups, in social interactions, they learn from each other, and then they develop their own reality. So this is, reality is a social construct, not just all alone mental construct, mental idea. This is a social learning from society and from social experiences. It is real thing. This is pragmatism. Existentialism goes inside the human being and it says that reality is actually your inner essence, your soul, our psyche, our self. So that is the foundation of your reality. It works. So the way you are, universe behaves. Okay. So it is not outside. It is also in your inside, but not in your mind. Actually in your psyche or in your soul, okay, or in yourself. So this is, so when you go to row number 3, educational philosophies, if you are now, if you belong to idealism, you are a perennialist. You are a perennialist. But now you see in curriculum, it applies to literature, history, philosophy, and religion. All these teachers are recommended to stay in column number 1 from these disciplines. But column number 2 applies to sciences and mathematics because they talk about the material world and its essential knowledge. So that is science and mathematics. Then you see there is another area, column number 3, sociology, economics, political science, and law. They are social sciences. And they believe that actually reality is a social construct. So student must be involved in some social problems, problem solving, making decisions collectively, and then learning lessons from each other and from that social experience. So this is their education philosophy. Then the last column, 4th one, is about psychology and spirituality. They say that reality is within the individual freedom and choice. They don't say that freedom is outside there. If you are working on Hakiki Azadi, so this column says that Azadi is not outside, it is inside. If you are not a free person, you will never be a free person. Okay? Freedom is an inside ability and some attitude and some, maybe it belongs to your psyche or yourself. So then the definition of, then it actually recommends you your teaching method. If you belong to column number 1, you will be believing in lectures and discussions, but column number 2 is about demonstrations and recitation. Number 3, your teaching method is case study or method, and number 4 is contemplative exercises or introspections in psychology. So in this way, and your title will also be different as a teacher. What would you like to be called? Teacher? Okay. Teacher, preacher, scholar, supervisor, professor, facilitator, trainer, advisor, guru, mentor, or coach. These are different titles for different areas, for different philosophies of education. If you are a mentor, okay, you work in psychology and spirituality as guru, mentor, or coach. Okay, but in sciences, you are a professor and supervisor of a research. But in idealism, you are called a preacher. So this is, when we just write a statement, now I would ask you to please, what is your focus? In focus area, in the row of focus, what is your focus? The mind of the student, or the senses of the students, or the action of the student, or the attitude of the student? So if I ask some people, please voluntarily, what is your focus? You work on the mind of the student? Action means body, okay. Action. Okay.
Primarily, but how can we ignore the others,
We cannot ignore. But
Primarily,
there is human limit. We cannot do all that.
actually, because they are the influencers. They influence things for situations.
Okay.
That is why they are-
Attitude. Okay. Human self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deeper self. What else? You are working on the mind or behavior or attitude or senses. You are sharpening the senses of scientists or science teachers. They are actually working on their senses. Okay. Observations. It starts with observation and it concludes with theory. So sharpening their senses. So if you know that, what is my column here at this sheet? Now it is easy for you to write or identify your teaching philosophy. It's not difficult. For example, in this exercise, now you can say that I am perennialist or essentialist or progressivist or humanist. For example, for philosophy. For example, okay.
If I say mathematics teacher has a teaching philosophy that's it says exemplary existentialism.
Mhm.
So what?
No, they cannot, because it a mathematics teacher cannot teach students that how to be an existentialist, because when you believe in existentialism, you first of all start your class in this way, that I believe that there is no truth and reality. You construct yourself, from your deeper self, from your psyche or from your soul. Actually, you give meaning to your existence. Okay. Mathematics principles are not applied to that thought. It will be,
Pragmatism.
again, it is mathematics is actually, when we say that mathematics means that is the highly reliable and valid and dependable principles of material world. They are the principles, okay, the most authentic principles of the world. So then we have to actually teach students to think principally vis-a-vis this material world. So that is, we need to be careful. Rather than just mixing different philosophies, we need to be focused and be in the line of our discipline. And we must understand that I am a teacher of religion. For example, if you see here, it's a teamwork. Some people are working with the mind of the student, some working with their body, some working with their heart, some works with their soul. So I should not say that I will be teaching to the students everything. My responsibility, I belong to religion, my responsibility is to talk about soul. Okay. If you belong to philosophy, you are to short the student's mind, logical mind. If you belong to science, then you have to talk about the material world and its principles and essential knowledge about this material world. So it's actually a teamwork that we are tackling or handling or facilitating with the whole person of the student. We are. So if in my class, for example, I am teaching a course in 243 in E-Block, I am talking about beliefs, okay, or about soul. But in the next class, someone is talking about skills and application, maybe computer science. So we work as a team. So we must understand what is actually my area. My area is the behavior of the student, mind of the student, heart of the student, or soul of the student. I should not actually switch to sometimes to the body, sometimes to the mind, and sometimes to the heart. Maybe my teaching will be compromised and it will not be so much effective in that way, because I am trying to be everything. It is not possible. It is not possible. Multidisciplinary approach is recommended now, but then you have to change your caps. If you are teaching a multidisciplinary course, such as science and religion, so half of the course I teach in the ground of science, and then I go to religion later on. But not half of the class or half of the period about science and then about religion and then confusing students. Yes, sir.
Can we say that the more we go to the exterior part of the circle,
Hmm.
the teaching becomes hardest towards the soul?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, because we move actually known to unknown. Okay. And if I am teaching just about unknown and metaphysics, it is difficult.
And can you say that if you are right on the spot, teaching for the soul of the students,
Mm.
then it will automatically control the body and mind and other things also. So your soul is connected with your soul, teacher's soul and student's soul.
Yeah. That's why. And at the end, I would request you to please understand that what is the nature of your subject, your discipline, okay? What is its requirement? It is focused on human body, student's body, mean behavior, actions, or about thought system, mind, or it is about maybe emotional intelligence. If you are teaching psychology, okay, it's about heart and psyche. If you are teaching religion and spirituality, it's about soul. Okay. So if we work effectively in our areas, then there is holistic development of the student is guaranteed. I believe that. So this is our commitment that we will be working as a team and we will be following and applying our own educational philosophy. Now these exercises will help you anytime. You can just read them, identify your area, and you can write them, or they are already ready-made. You can own it and you can apply it. And you see, please, in these statements, there are at least 4 to 5 things in this small paragraph, 4 to 5 things. It talks about your educational goal, about your teaching method, about your assessment style, and about your other activities. This small paragraph tells everything about your teaching goal, that this should be the goal of the education. It is my method, teaching method or strategy. It is the way I assess their learning. So in this way, we should have a teaching philosophy. Thank you if you have any question. Otherwise, that's all from my side.
Thank you.
You're at mute.
Thank you so much for a very enlightening session. I could not hear a lot of it, but I have always listened on to your talks. I had a meeting and I was away, but for the part that I heard, I learned a lot and I wish I had attended this session. You have added some beautiful components into your teaching philosophy. And I see that you have a book also, Faith, Spirituality, and Character, The Straight Path to Successful Life. And it seems a lot of ideas are a culmination of your research about this book. And they were very visible in your talk. And I think it was remarkable. I would love to see that other has saying literally 100% satisfaction and 100% new learning for the people who have responded so far. So very, very enlightening and remarkable session. Thank you so much.
We'll move towards the question answer session. If online participants have any questions, please state them in the chat box and the expert will answer them. Meanwhile, you're all requested to please respond to the polling as well. Dr. Ghani, we have a few comments for your session. Dr. Adil Ahmed says, very interesting session. Dr. Ghani, pleasure to learn from your exposure and experience. Mr. Naman from Business Department says, thank you. Dr. Dildar says, remarkable. Dr. Sabha says, thank you very much for a good session. Remarkable session, Nisar Ahmed.
Thank you all for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll end this now. Thank you, everyone, for joining.